While the rain and climate chaos wreak havoc upon India, the wire takes you on a journey into the cloud-kissed state of Meghalaya to find out how does climate change affect India's wettest state. Now friends, Meghalaya is an ancient land with mystical caves, rivers, canyons and constant rainfall. Nature has blessed this land with rare biodiversity and mineral-laden hills. This is also the home of the Garo, Jantia and Khasi people who've lived here for centuries and farmed in this magical land. They've grown umpteen number of paddy varieties, fruits, vegetables, forest foods, mushrooms and all these other things. Nature has given them abundance. But today we wanted to understand how this abundance is being threatened by the climate dragon. To understand this, we took a journey beyond the green rolling hills, the bursting waterfalls in the mist. We traveled to the hinterlands east, west, south to meet Meghalaya's farmers and understand how they see climate change. Now, these farmers live a simple life. They grow their paddy, cultivate their livestock and live the hard, mountainous life. To know more about this, we made our first stop, which was 2 hours ahead of Smith in a place called Umsawar. Now this is a remote community where the 90 households that live there constantly farm and raise pigs. And when they cannot farm, they go off onto the hills and start mining. So let's enter their life and find out how this little remote community is being affected by the climate dragon.
Do you think that the climate has changed from when you were little to now? Like, do you think the effects of climate change can be seen in this village?
Yes, especially when I was small. Okay, when I was small, the rain is, yes, heavy rainfall, and plus also I could see also the forest is still thick. Okay, when I look at the animals, varieties, livestock, also we have many. Okay, but the times go, the times come, then everything change. Okay, they change in the sense that even agriculture also now they have gotten, yes, they grow, okay, different varieties of seeds, but less. Okay, because people now they have run after the livelihood, which means monocropping. Okay, monocropping practices, which is they can only get the immediate income. Okay, like in broomstick and all. And because of that also maybe the climate has changed. Okay, the rain is also less. The rainfall is less now. If the rain is coming also means it's not according to the season.
So you mean to say there is untimely rain?
Untimely rain.
So how is that affecting agriculture productivity in the area?
Surely, because if especially during the sowing time, okay, the cultivate time, okay, is different now. Demand is same, like especially during the for potato growing, okay, in the month of February. But this month they're supposed to burn the land, no? Which we call is bun. No? Then this time they cannot burn the land because of raining, so they have to wait. They have to wait till March or end of March, so they have to burn. So and the planting time again you have to plant after March. So the planting or the sowing seeds is changing. So
sowing and planting seasons are changing.
Yes, because of climate.
Because of climate change.
Yes.
Now the other thing is, like, what effect is it having on wild varieties and wild crops that are in the forest? Have you seen a reduction or increase of wild edibles?
Yes, regarding the wild also is decreasing now because of before we have thick forest. Okay, so in the thick forest, okay, we have got many wild edibles like fruits, even the mushroom, okay, flowers, all those wild edibles, vegetables, all those. But now because of the less forest, yes, the quantity of the trees, they are still more because the planting, people are planting every year. Okay, but then the thick forest, okay, the mature trees is very less. So that's what.
What about the
But
water quality in the village? Like, has the water quality decreased or increased? Like, is there more water now or more water when you were a little girl?
yeah, when I was little, the water, yes, is just deeper. Okay, the rivers and all, but now is less.
Last question is, which is the biggest victim of climate change in your area? If climate change, do you understand my question?
Yes, yes. I remember, okay, during my time also, and when my elders also told me that in 2007 there was a landslide in the area where they grow broomstick, which means the whole area, which means landslide, it flows to the Muar River. So it affected the agriculture of the people in there. And in 2000 also there was also a big change whereby the people, they lost this paddy field. Okay, they lost the yield of the paddy. That time, even though they have grown acres of the land, but then they have got only 1 or 2 sacks of rice in one farmer at a time.
The next stop on this journey was Mulum in Jaintia Hills. Now this area had been the strongholds of the mightier Jaintia tribes, and this is also the home to the Lakadom turmeric. Here people have been living for a long time, growing all kinds of vegetables, paddy, and also doing jhoom or sash and burn agriculture. So let's go down and meet some farmers and understand what are their concerns. So how important is agriculture, and what is the special role of rice in the culture of this area? Could you please elaborate on that?
Agriculture is the mainstay of the people in the area. You know, like me, although we don't have the exact figure, but I would think more than 80% of people would depend their livelihood on agriculture. And yes, rice is one very unique crop for the people of Meghalaya, especially the Khasi Jaintia people. Not only that, we have many varieties of rice, and some of them are we have lost those different varieties, but our tradition, you know, it's weave around rice. So rice is being used in the rituals performed in the traditional religion till today. You know, a lot of people who follow traditional religion, they would still, I mean, many of the rituals, you know, they have to use rice. And again, even in, you know, there are a lot of activities that we, you know, that rice plays a very important role.
So do you think climate chaos is also playing some role in decreasing of agricultural productivity in this area? Climate change, as people talk about.
Actually, we have experienced this. Again, you know, in our tradition, which we have inherited from our ancestor, especially here in Giant Hills, we have different names for different rainfalls, because rainfall has been consistent. I mean, you know, it falls on a regular basis. So people can always predict that, you know, before harvest, rice harvest, we will have rainfall. So we have name for the rainfall, you know, that, say for example, a rainfall before we harvest rice, it's called rainfall, you know, which is connected to rice harvesting. Similarly with regard to other crops. But now that has changed. Rainfall has been unpredictable now. You know, for us, I mean, since the past, we would have experienced rainfall, but we'd also have some, period where we would have time for other things. You know, there would be no rainfall, I mean to say. So, but now, especially, I mean, the last 2-3 years, rainfall has been unpredictable. So maybe that is one sign of the climate change. You know, so this is definitely happening in our state. But the other example I would think would be related to that is with regard to orange. The Khasi oranges is also famous. We used to export to Bangladesh, because I am originally from near the Bangladesh border. My grandmother is from a village called Nongtalang. It used to be a place where we grow a lot of oranges. But now all of a sudden all that has disappeared. We don't have, when I go to the village now, I feel sad that I have to carry oranges from Juai to Nongtalang. Whereas in my grandmother's days, when I was a kid, we used to bring oranges from Nongtalang to our relatives, to share with our relatives in Juai. So these things happens. Again, that is one thing that is very obvious. Now we have seen that wild edibles, especially in many areas, the availability of the indigenous wild edibles are decreasing. This is very obvious. But like the lockdown due to COVID last year, we realized that because of the lockdown, so people start going back to their indigenous food, because all of a sudden there was the supply of vegetables from outside all of a sudden stopped. So people in the last 2 years, they went back to indigenous food. But I don't know if this will continue when everything is over. But that is what happened last year. So we found that people, especially in the village. Actually, we also during the lockdown, we coordinate with the farmers and we bring vegetables I live in a town called Juai. So we brought the vegetables to the town. So in many cases, people in the town they were not even able to identify the indigenous food. They would say, "What is this?" And they would ask questions. How do we cook this? Because their knowledge of the indigenous food, especially in the urban areas, is decreasing. So that is what we found during the lockdown due to COVID-19.
The last stop on this journey was a purely sash and burn village. This is the village of Nongtro near Sora, which has practiced jhum agriculture for centuries. These people, apart from the notoriety, they are actually very ecologically sensitive, and they have learned to farm the forest. Not even 1 inch of the mountain that they live has been left. Every single inch of soil has been planted by their ancestors and by them. So here we come down and meet a farmer to understand what are the threats the community is facing, especially in terms of climate change.
I am Shekhar from Dole village. I'm working as community consultant. So I'm coming from the village where the people are practicing jhum cultivation. In jhum cultivation, we have seen that the farmers are growing different types of crops. They do not depend for food only on one particular types of crops. So this is the reason that the farmers do not face any problem if one particular crop is being destroyed by the nature or by any natural calamities. The farmers in my village are domesticating, like in the kitchen garden, the fruit trees and some other vegetables which they can feed themselves at the time when they need food. And in the jhum areas, we could see that in the nearby areas that the farmers are foraging the wild edibles from the forest. When we talk about the impact of climate change on agriculture, unpredictable rainfall, sometimes rains comes before the burning of the jhum field, and sometimes the rain do not come when we expect to get rain. So this is it can affect the growth of the crops. Like in this year 2022, we have seen that there is a change, like because the farmers are facing this problem, like one particular crop like potato is being destroyed by the heavy rainfall. We actually we do not expect that we'll get rain when the crops are start growing, but this year we get lots of rain. However, there is an impact of climate change on some of the wild edible plants. I remember during my childhood that there are some wild edible plants, they are in abundance, but at present they start reducing. For example, Sakau Yang, Sok Vai, Uler, Doloi, these are the wild edibles which we found they are not in abundance.
So friends, after our 10-day journey, it became clear that the climate chaos was hurting Meghalaya too. Excessive, untimely rainfalls, loss of forest, edibles, landslides, newer pests and diseases were all the symptoms of the climate chaos coming to this area. And whether we like it or not, friends, Meghalaya, like other parts of the world, needs our attention. For if the Meghalayan forests and rivers go, what will happen to the rest of us?
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.